So we are continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9. And we are going to read the text 33. Does anyone remember what section are we on? We are
Hare
reading
Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah, we were reading about how the expansions of the universe happen through his potencies, and that all these expansions, the tattvas coming from him, his personal tattvas and all, are his energies, and that he's always there before us. But demigods also saw him after they could only see him after they did his prayers, and they did it with all devotion, and they saw him in his personal form and his Virat Roop, distinguished from the Sarupyas, with this Srivatsa mark and the Kaustuba jewel that he has on his chest.
Yeah, so the demigods, they were praying to Lord Vishnu, to Shirodakshai Vishnu, and then the Lord is pleased with them, and he's now appeared before them. Yes, thank you so much. Yes. So then going on. Om Namastestu Bhagavan Narayana Vasudevadi Purusha Maha
Om Namastestu Bhagavan Narayana Vasudevadi Purusha Maha
Purusha Mahanubhava Parama Mangala Parama Kalyana Parama
Purusha Mahanubhava Parama Mangala Parama Kalyana Parama
Karunika Kevala Jagat Adhara Lokeka Nath Sarveshwara Lakshmi
Karunika Kevala Jagat
Jagat
Adhara
Adhar
Lokeka
Lokekanath
Nata Sarveshwara
Sarveshwara
Lakshmi
Lakshmi
Natha Paramhamsa Parivrajake Paramenatma Yoga
Nata
Natha
Paramahamsa
Paramhansa Parivrajaka
Parivrajake Paramenatma
Paramanatma
Yoga
Yoga
Samadhina Paribhavita Parisfuta Para
Sama
Paramahamsaya
Samadhina
Samadhina
Paribhavita
Paribhavita Parisfuta Paramahamsya
Paramahamsya
Dharmenodghatita Tamaka Patadvare Chitte Pavrita Atmaloke
Dharme
Dharmeno
do
Ghata
Tama
Tamak
Kapata Dware Chitta
Chiti
Apavitra
Apavatra
Atmaloke
Atmaloki
Swayam Upalabdha Nija Sukhanubhavo Bhavan
Swayam
Swayam
Upalabdha
Upalabdha
Nija
Nija
Sukhanubhavo
Sukhanubhavo Bhavan.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Narayan, O Vasudev, Original Person, O Most Exalted Person, Supreme Experience, Welfare Personified, O Supreme Benediction, Supremely Merciful and Changeless, O Support of the Cosmic Manifestation, Sole Proprietor of all planetary systems, Master of everything, and Husband of the Goddess of Fortune. Your Lordship is realized by the topmost sannyasis who wander about the world to preach Krishna consciousness, fully absorbed in samadhi through bhakti yoga. Because their minds are concentrated upon you, they can receive the conception of your personality in their fully purified hearts. When the darkness in their hearts is completely eradicated and you are revealed to them, the transcendental bliss they enjoy is the transcendental form of your Lordship. No one but such persons can realize you. Therefore, we simply offer you our respectful obeisances. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has numerous transcendental names pertaining to different grades of revelation to various grades of devotees and transcendentalists. When he is realized in his impersonal form, he is called the Supreme Brahman. When realized as the Paramatma, he is called Antaryami. And when he expands himself in different forms for material creation, he is called Shirodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Karanodakshai Vishnu. So Srila Prabhupada here is mentioning in the purport that God has unlimited names, unlimited. But the devotees who have realized him, how they have realized him, they call him in that. Some call him Supreme Brahman because their realization is up to Supreme Brahman. Some call him Antaryami, Paramatma, because their realization is up to Paramatma. But one who understands that God is a person, then one calls him accordingly. When one understands that God is the creator of this universe, Shirodakshai Vishnu, Karanodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So then one calls him similarly in such a way. Similarly, when one understands God is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one calls him Krishna, the most attractive. So the closer we go to God, because when we are further away from God, we may call him Almighty or God, Supreme Brahman. We are not able to understand his name. But when one understands God has unlimited names, then one calls him by such names, Govinda, Gopal, like that. Okay. When he is realized as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh, the Chaturvyuha, who are beyond the three forms of Vishnu, he is the Vaikuntha Narayan. Above realization of Narayan is realization of Baladev, and above that is realization of Krishna. All these realizations are possible when one engages fully in devotional service. So we get to understand God, who is God, we need to engage in devotional service. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati, I can be known only by devotion. So if we at all want to understand God, we have to engage in devotional service, which begins by hearing and chanting. So the covered core of one's heart is then completely open to receiving and understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various forms. Because the more we engage in hearing and chanting, the more our consciousness is purified. The dust which is accumulated gets cleaned up, and we are able to understand God. We are able to see him. Durva bodha ivata tavayam vihara yogo yat asharno sharira idam.
Durava iva tavaya Anavekshitasmad samavaya atma neva vikriyamanena sagunam.
Anavikshitasmat samavaya atmaneva vikriya amani sagunam.
Agunaha srijasi pasi harasi.
Aguna srijasi pasi harasi.
O Lord, you need no support. And although you have no material body, you do not need cooperation from us. Since you are the cause of the cosmic manifestation and you supply its material ingredients without being transformed, you create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation by yourself. Nevertheless, although you appear engaged in material activity, you are transcendental to all material qualities. Consequently, these transcendental activities of yours are extremely difficult to understand. The Brahma Samhita 537 says, Goloka eva nivasti akhilatma bhutaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is always situated in Golok, Vrindavan. It is also said, Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam na gacchati. Krishna never goes even a step from Vrindavan. Nevertheless, although Krishna is situated in his own abode, Golok Vrindavan, he is simultaneously all-pervading and is therefore present everywhere. This is very difficult for a conditioned soul to understand, but devotees can understand how Krishna, without undergoing any changes, can simultaneously be in his abode and be all-pervasive. So Srila Prabhupada is explained here, he's putting in the purport that Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita is saying that Supreme Lord Krishna is always in Vrindavan. He never goes out of Vrindavan, doesn't ever step out of Vrindavan. But also he's omnipresent. He's everywhere. So he's in Vrindavan also, he's everywhere also. So many people can't understand this. But the devotees can understand because Krishna has inconceivable energies. The devotee understands that Krishna is inconceivable. He has inconceivable energies. And that's how he can understand. Yes, why not? Krishna can do it. That's why he's God. So the demigods are understood to be various limbs of the Supreme Lord's body, although the Supreme Lord has no material body and does not need anyone's help. He is spread everywhere. Maya tatam idam sarva jagat avyakta murtina. Nevertheless, he's not present everywhere in his spiritual form. So we also read in the third canto, when we were reading of the universal form, how the different demigods are placed in the different parts of the body of the universal form. So here Prabhupada is mentioning Krishna is God. He does not need anyone's help. And he does not have a material body. Yet the demigods are a part of his body. Everyone is his energy. The demigods, they are devotees and they have this desire to be in certain managerial positions and they are very qualified to be put in such positions. So Krishna appoints them in these positions as Lord Brahma, Lord Surya, Lord Chandra, like that. So Krishna is not present everywhere in his spiritual form. According to the Mayavad philosophy, the supreme truth, being all-pervasive, does not need a transcendental form. The Mayavadis suppose that since his form is distributed everywhere, he has no form. This is untrue. The Lord keeps his transcendental form, and at the same time, he extends everywhere, in every nook and corner of the material creation. So people think that, oh, since God is omnipresent, he's everywhere, so then he's not a person anymore. He does not have his original form anymore. No, but simultaneous one and difference. God has a personal form, yet he's everywhere by his energies. He's everywhere in his Paramatma form. This is how. That is the proper way to understand the inconceivable position of God. Yeah, because someone may think that, oh, well, you take a piece of paper, there's one sheet of paper. So the paper is there, that's the original paper. But now you tear it into many pieces. So the original paper is not there, only the tiny pieces are there. So someone may think that God is like that, like paper, that, oh, now he's spread everywhere, so the original form of God is not there. No, God is not paper. Paper is just a material element, is dead. God is supreme conscious being. So God, he is simultaneously, he has a personal form and he's spread everywhere by his energies, by his expansion as Padmatma. Atha tatra bhavan kim deva dattavad iha guna visarga patitaha.
अतः तत्र भवान् किं देवदत्तवद् गुण
गुणविसर्गपतितः
पारतन्त्रेण स्वकृता कुशला कुशलं फलम् उपाददाति आहोस्वित्.
पारतन्त्र्येण
Paratantryena
स्वकृत
swakrita
कुशलाक्षु कुशलं
kushala
फलम्
palam
उपाददाति
upaddatati
आहोस्वि
ahosvid.
Atma Rama Upashama Shila Samanjasa Darshana Udasta Itiha Vavana Vidamaha.
आत्मा राम
Atmarama
उपशम
upashana
समञ्जस
samanjasa
दर्शन
darshana
उदास्त
udasta iti
इति
bhavana
भाव्यभावनं विदामः
vidamaha.
These are our inquiries. The ordinary conditioned soul is subject to the material laws, and he thus receives the fruits of his actions. Does your lordship, like any ordinary human being, exist within this material world in a body produced by the material modes? Do you enjoy or suffer the good or bad results of your actions, under the influence of time, past work, and so forth? Or, on the contrary, are you present here only as a neutral witness who is self sufficient, free from all material desires, and always full of spiritual potency? We certainly cannot understand your actual position. So the demigods are not able to understand that the Lord Vishnu, is his form material or is it spiritual? Is his form controlled by the modes of nature? Does he get karma based on his activity? So they're asking him. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he descends to this material world for two purposes, namely, paritranaya sadhuna minashaya cha duskritam, to relieve the devotees and kill demons or non-devotees. These two kinds of actions are the same for the absolute truth. When the Lord comes to punish the demons, he bestows his favor upon them. And similarly, when he delivers his devotees and gives them relief, he also bestows his favor. Thus, the Lord bestows his favor equally upon the conditioned souls. When a conditioned soul gives relief to others, he acts piously, and when he gives trouble to others, he acts impiously. But the Lord is neither pious nor impious. He is always full in his spiritual potency, by which he shows equal mercy to the punishable and protectable. So here Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that Krishna, he says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam, that he comes to protect the devotees, to annihilate the miscreants. But for the Lord, both are the same, because both the demigod and the miscreant, the demon, both are part and parcel of Krishna. So for him, he is giving favor to both. He's giving his personal favor. He's being with the devotees. He's having loving exchange. And when he is punishing the demons, they also get salvation. They get liberation. That's his favor to them. So he's favoring both. So here Prabhupada is saying what is pious and impious activity. When we do something for others' benefit, that is pious. And when we are giving trouble to someone, that's impious. But the Supreme Lord, he is giving equal mercy to both. Both are getting equal mercy, the devotee and the demon. Everyone who was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they got liberated because they were seeing Krishna. So the Lord is apapa vidham. He is never contaminated by the reactions of so-called sinful activities. So because Krishna's activities are not sinful, the sin can never touch him. He never acts sinfully. When Krishna was present on this earth, he killed many inimical non-devotees, but they all received sarupya. In other words, they returned to their original spiritual bodies. One who does not know the Lord's position says that God is unkind to him, but merciful to others. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining that because we don't understand God's position, we say, oh, he's unkind. But we can see that the demons also that Krishna killed, they got liberation. Prabhupada here is mentioned, they received Sarupya Mukti. Means they got the bodies are like four-armed Vishnu forms. They were able to go to Vaikuntha. So actually the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:29, Soham sarva bhuteshu namidvesho stena priyaha. I am equal to everyone. No one is my enemy and no one is my friend. So Krishna is impartial. But he also says, Ye abhijanti tu mam bhaktya maiteteshu chapi aham. If one becomes my devotee and fully surrenders unto me, I give him special attention. So Krishna is saying, I'm not partial to anyone. I'm equal to everyone. But he's also saying that I give special attention to my devotee. So how can we understand this? We can understand a father. He has two sons. One son is very naughty, and one son is always wanting. So one son always wants to stay away from the father. Doesn't want to talk much to him, stays away. Another son always wants to be with the father. So the father, he's maintaining both the sons. He loves both the sons equally. He's maintaining both the sons. But the son who wants to be with the father, automatically the father is spending more time with the son. It's natural. The son is spending time with the father, so the father is automatically spending time with the son. So here, the devotees who want to spend time with Krishna, Krishna is saying, I spend time with them. I give them special attention. It's just automatic, no? And those who don't want to be with Krishna, Krishna still maintains. He doesn't say that, oh, I'm not going to provide food or shelter to someone who doesn't surrender to me. No, he gives the same, he provides, he maintains everyone. But with the devotee, then he has this personal relationship because the devotee wants it. So in this way, Krishna is not partial to anyone, yet one who is a devotee, Krishna gives him special attention. Is that okay? Questions, comments?
So even Vṛtrāsura is his
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear well.
so
even
so although the demigods are praying for protection from Vṛtrāsura, Vṛtrāsura is also his
they are
sure.
Haribol.
Yeah, sorry, you can continue.
So they are praying to Lord Vishnu, yes, to protect them from Vṛtrāsura. Yes. And Vṛtrāsura is also part and parcel of Krishna.
Yes.
Yes, actually he's a great devotee. We are going to hear later of his
Okay.
his dialogue. But as we are saying, as here Prabhupada is mentioning, even Krishna himself is saying that even if one does not surrender to Krishna, Krishna still maintains that person. You know, because even if the demon, wherever he's living, he's being provided air, water, food, shelter, everything. Krishna is providing everything. He's maintaining. If he gets hurt, his body gets, again, okay, after some time, the healing process happens. So Krishna is providing. It's just with the devotee, then Krishna is giving personal attention. Yeah, is that okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nahi viroda ubhayam bhagavati aparimita gunagana.
Nahi viroda upayam bhagavati aparimita gunagana.
Ishvare navagaya mahatmye pravanchina vikalpa vitarka vichara.
Ishware
Anvakaya
Anvakaya Mahat
Mahatmya Arvachina Vikalpa
Arvachana
Vitarka
Vikalpa
Vichara
Vitarka Vichara
Vara Mana Bhasa Kutaraka Shastra Kalilantaha Karanashraya
Pramana
Vasa
Vasa
Kutarka
Kutarka
Shastra
Shastra
Kalilanta
Kalilanta
Karanashaya
Karanashaya
Durvagraha Vadinam Vivadana Vassara Uparata Samasta
Duravagraha Vadina
Durvagravadinam Vivadam
Vivadana
Navasara
Vasara
Uparata
Uparata Samasta
Maya Maye Kevala Evatma Mayam Antardhaya Kon Artho
Maya Mai
Mayamai
Kevala
Kevala
Evatma
Evatma
Mayam
Mayam
Antardhaya
Antardaya
Kurniv
Kuma Arto
Artho
Durgahata Iva Bhavati Swarupa Dvayabhava
Durgata
Durgata
Iva
Iva
Bhati
Bhavati
Swarupa
Swarupa
Dvaya
Dvaya
Bhava
Bhavat
O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all contradictions can be reconciled in you. O Lord, since you are the Supreme Person, the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities, the Supreme Controller, your unlimited glories are inconceivable to the conditioned souls. Many modern theologians argue about right and wrong without knowing what is actually right. Their arguments always false and their judgments inconclusive because they have no authorized evidence with which to gain knowledge of you, because their minds are agitated by scriptures containing false conclusions. They are unable to understand the truth concerning you. Furthermore, because of polluted eagerness to arrive at the right conclusion, their theories are incapable of revealing you, who are transcendental to their material conceptions. You are one without a second, and therefore in you contradictions like doing and not doing, happiness and distress are not contradictory. Your potency is so great that it can do and undo anything as you like. With the help of that potency, what is impossible for you? Since there is no duality in your constitutional position, you can do everything by the influence of your energy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being self sufficient, is full of transcendental bliss, Atmaram. He enjoys bliss in two ways: when he appears happy and when he appears distressed. Distinctions and contradictions are impossible in him because only from him have they emanated. So when we are in distress, we are not happy, we are unhappy. When we are comfortable, then we are happy. But when we are in distress, we don't like that. But the Supreme Lord, He's self sufficient, self satisfied. So in Him, there is no duality. So happiness and distress for Him, both are happiness. He's never unhappy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all knowledge, all potency, all strength, opulence, and influence. There's no limit to His powers. Since He is full in all transcendental attributes, nothing abominable from the material world can exist in Him. He is transcendental and spiritual, and therefore conceptions of material happiness and distress do not apply to Him. He is His nature is Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. He's always full of bliss. He's never in distress. So we should not be astonished to find contradictions in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, there are no contradictions. That is the meaning of His being supreme. Because He's all powerful, He's not subject to the conditioned soul's arguments regarding His existence or non existence. He's pleased to protect His devotees by killing their enemies. He enjoys both the killing and the protecting. So Krishna also has a fighting spirit. He likes to fight sometimes. So he's enjoying both these activities. It doesn't mean that he's sadist. No. Krishna loves each and every one of us. Each and every one of us is part and parcel of him. So this is because we, according to our material, very limited mind thinking, we try to judge the Supreme Lord. But that's not how we can understand him. We can understand him only by bhakti, by hearing about him from the devotees, by chanting his holy name. Then we will be able to understand him, his activities. So if we can try to understand that he has inconceivable energies. For us, something may seem impossible that, oh, how can it be possible? But there's nothing impossible for God. Why should it be impossible for him? He's God. He's all powerful. He has all the energies unlimitedly. Because we think, oh, how can it be possible for God to do? It's not possible for us to do, but for God, it's certainly possible. Inconceivable energies. Such freedom from duality applies not only to the Lord, but also his devotees. In Vrindavan, the damsels of Rajbhumi enjoy transcendental bliss in the company of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and they feel the same transcendental bliss in separation when Krishna and Balaram leave Vrindavan for Mathura. So when the gopis, they are singing the Gopi Geet or Srimati Radharani, she's talking to the bumblebee in separation from Krishna. To us, it seems that they are suffering, but internally they are experiencing the highest spiritual happiness. Vipralamba Seva. So on the transcendental platform, on the spiritual platform, union and separation, both are a source of joy, happiness, bliss. There's no question of material pains or pleasures for either the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his pure devotees, although they are sometimes superficially said to be distressed or happy. One who is Atmaram is blissful in both ways because you're satisfied. Atmaram means completely self-satisfied. Nothing can change that. That, like for us, when the situation changes, then our happiness and distress also changes. But not for Krishna, not for the pure devotees. Non-devotees cannot understand the contradictions present in the Supreme Lord or his devotees. I'm sorry, did someone want to say something? Okay. So, therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati. The transcendental pastimes can be understood through devotional service. To non-devotees, they are inconceivable. Because, someone may say, oh, how can God do it? No, it's not possible for God to do. No, the devotee understands everything is possible for God. Achintya khalu ye bhava, na tam starkena yojaye. The Supreme Lord and his form, name, pastimes, and paraphernalia are inconceivable to non-devotees. And one should not try to understand such realities simply by logical arguments. They will not bring one to the right conclusion about the absolute truth. Because after all, our mind is material, our mind is limited. So our logic and our conclusions are also going to be limited. They are going to be full of fault because they are material. So that is not the way that we can understand the absolute truth. The absolute truth can be understood only by devotion. Sama Vishama Mati Nam Matam Anu Sarasi Yatha Raju Khandaha.
Samavishamatinam matam anusarasi
yatha
yatharaju
Jukhanda
Sarpadidiyam.
Sarpadidiyam.
A rope causes fear for a bewildered person who considers it a snake, but not for a person with proper intelligence who knows it to be only a rope. Similarly, you as the super soul in everyone's heart, inspire fear or fearlessness according to one's intelligence. But in you, there is no duality. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tatheva bhajami aham. As one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the reservoir of everything, including all knowledge, all truth, and all contradictions. So Prabhupada here is quoting, Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tatheva bhajami aham. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 11. As one surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. So to the degree one surrenders to Krishna, to that degree one can understand Krishna. One can understand Krishna's opulence, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's forms. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is a reservoir of everything, including all knowledge, all truth, and all contradictions. The example cited herein is very appropriate. A rope is one truth, but some mistake it for a snake, whereas others know it to be a rope. Similarly, devotees who know the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not see contradictions in him, but non-devotees regard him as the snake-like source of all fear. So here the demigods are saying to some, well, they may see a rope because they understand it's a rope. But another person who's not able to understand it very well, who's not able to see very well, may mistaken the rope for a snake. So Krishna is also the source of all contradictions. Everything comes from Krishna. Nothing can exist. Nothing exists which does not come from Krishna. In other words, to say everything comes from Krishna. So all the knowledge is also coming from him. Truth is coming from him. Contradictions also coming from him. For example, when Nrsimhadev appeared, Prahlad Maharaj saw the Lord as the supreme solace, whereas his father, a demon, saw him as the ultimate death. So it's the same Lord Nrsimha. Prahlad is saying, my dear Lord has come. Prahlad was not afraid of Lord Nrsimhadev. Lord Nrsimhadev was petting him like a lion pets his cub. Whereas Hiranyakashipu was so afraid of him. He came as death for Hiranyakashipu. Just like when Krishna entered the arena of the wrestling match which Kams had organized. So everyone saw him differently, as their relationship, the women, the men, the friends, the cowherd boys, then Kans and the wrestlers, they saw him as death. But whereas the others, they're seeing him in different emotions, different relations. The young saw him as his friends. The older ones saw him as their son. And Krishna reciprocates accordingly. So, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.237, Bhayam Vityabhi Niveshataha Syat. Fear results from being absorbed in duality. When one is in knowledge of duality, he knows both fear and bliss. The same Supreme Lord is a source of bliss to devotees and fear to non-devotees who have a poor fund of knowledge. God is one, but people understand the absolute truth from different angles of vision. The unintelligent see contradictions in him, but sober devotees find no contradictions. So the devotees, they are able to understand the inconceivable nature of Krishna, the inconceivable nature of God. So there is no contradiction for them because they understand he has inconceivable energies. Questions, comments? Anyone wanted to add anything?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, they are praying, the demigods are praying to Lord for protection, but actually it might be for their good, right? Vṛtrāsura is for their good, probably.
Yeah.
Because it's his energy. So,
Yeah.
So it's protection from Vṛtrāsura is actually could be asking, but it's actually something blissful for them also, but they cannot see that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Because of the scare of Vṛtrāsura, they offered the prayers, and Lord
Yes,
Vishnu
yes,
appeared to them. They're able to see him. So they are getting more and more fortunate by seeing him now.
yes.
Yeah. So yes, it's for their ultimate good.
Mm.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that.
Hare Krishna.
Sri Krishna. So let's stop here.
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare